What's going on? How are you doing? This is Magic Mitch, the food adventurer, bringing you another food challenge video. And in this food adventure, you're gonna see me take on the biggest poutine challenge I've ever faced. That's right, just when you think the typical Canadian food adventures were over on this trip, here I am at a place called Chez Vachon in Manchester, New Hampshire, taking on their Grand Poutine challenge. Now with this challenge, it's pretty straightforward. You just got essentially a big old platter of poutine, which is made with 2.5 pounds of french fries, and then they just load that tray up with all kinds of brown gravy and cheese curds. Which is why when they first brought it out, I was just like, oh my god. And just to make myself clear, that was not meant to be any sign of enthusiasm. More like the fact that we could potentially have a real struggle on our hands here. But thankfully there was a 1 hour time limit for this challenge, which I was really hoping I did not need. But if I was able to overcome this piling platter of poutine, I would receive my $30 meal for free, a free t-shirt, and my picture up on their wall of fame. So even before the battle began, there were two things on my mind I wasn't so sure about. The first thing was exactly how I'd fare in the fight against the biggest poutine challenge I'd ever faced. And that is because, well, if you've been following me along on this East Coast and Canada tour, you know I don't have a perfect record when it comes to food challenges with poutine. So it was a little daunting thinking about an eating challenge where poutine just isn't the side item, but rather the entire challenge itself. And I think I hesitate with poutine a little bit because not only do I find it to be a bit too savory and salty, especially with that gravy, but also the cheese curds. Now don't get me wrong, as a proud Wisconsin native coming from America's Dairyland, I like me some cheese curds. I just prefer them to be deep fried. And the amount I normally would eat would be measured in bites, not mouthfuls, especially since they do tend to settle a little heavier afterwards. And as someone who's slightly lactose intolerant, it was hard not to think about all the repercussions that might happen after the challenge, because for all I knew, the poutine challenge was just the beginning of the true battle to take place. But I did my best to clear my head and focus on this big poutine challenge at hand. This is also why I decided to eat a lot of the cheese curds early on in the challenge, because I wanted to clear out those first, as those were going to be more difficult for me to eat as time went on. Now, the second thing isn't so much about the food itself, but actually how it's pronounced. I've always pronounced it as poutine, and I know most Canadians I've talked to pronounce it as poutine. But here at Chez Vachon, the staff said the correct pronunciation is poutine. I don't remember exactly if that was correct or not, but it was something like they were trying to sneak in a hard S or a Z in there. Poutine? Poutine? I don't know. I'm not exactly sure, and I don't know if I agree with that or not, but it also could just be the French-Canadian pronunciation. And actually, let me know down in the comments below how you think it's pronounced. And while I might not know the correct pronunciation to this dish, I do know a great food challenge when I see one, which is why for the Grand Poutine challenge, I'm giving this one a thumbs up, because first off, it has the gold standard for completing the challenge, which is getting your meal for free, the free shirt, and your picture up on their wall of fame. And also, with 1 hour to finish, you can take your time to enjoy it, if you so choose. And also with it being poutine, it is a harder type of challenge to find, though in Canada, I'm sure you'd have like a much easier time. I feel like they would just be all over the place, but I'm sure that's not actually the case. And as far as the taste goes, again, I'm going to give this one a thumbs up, which kind of sounds a little crazy considering what I had mentioned earlier, and I was hit with all kinds of flavor fatigue during this battle, but for the early parts of this challenge, I gotta say, this was actually some of the best poutine I've ever had, food challenge or not. And although there was a lot of gravy, it's not like I was drowning in it, which is why overall, I was very happy to have the opportunity to take on this big old platter of poutine. And with that being said, if you're enjoying your time watching me battle and power through this sodium-packed big old plate of poutine, or poutine, or poutine, whatever it's called, then show your support by leaving a little magic of your own by liking and sharing this video with someone you think would love to embark on this food adventure. And if you'd like to continue the journey and see what other food monstrosities I'm battling next, be sure to hit that subscribe button as well as the bell notification, and also like the page if you're on Facebook. And I'll see you in the next food adventure. Waiting for that lactose to kick in.